Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Weird Around Illinois podcast. Today, we're going to be doing something a little different than our normal format. We're not going to be talking about a place that we've been, but rather we're going to talk about a place that we're going to. I think I've mentioned before, we are all about weirdness in and around Illinois, and we're not limiting ourselves to just cryptids. So our next investigation, or one of our next investigations, is actually going to be a ghost investigation. And we're going to be going to a place that is supposed to be one of the most haunted roads in America. It's called Bloods Point Road, and it's in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, far northwest suburbs, out by Rockford. It's in Boone County. I believe the town of Cherry Valley is kind of centered on Bloods Point Road. And there's a lot of kind of scary things attached to this road. The road itself is supposed to be haunted. There's a haunted bridge, haunted cemetery. They say even the trees around this road are really creepy. They look like people or something if you see them in the dark.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be a creepy place to visit. I just wish we'd managed to make it there before Halloween. Luckily, we've still got that fall spooky feeling in the air, so it should still be pretty creepy.
Yeah.
One of the scary things about the place is the name itself. You hear the name Bloods Point Road, and they think that there was blood everywhere, but that's not exactly where it came from.
Yeah, so the name, Blood Point, actually originated from a guy called Arthur Blood. And, so he lived on the road, with his two kids, right? Okay, yeah, so, anyway, his kids, apparently like to visit this witch's house sometimes. And the witch's name is Bela. Yeah, Bela. So, the father didn't really enjoy them visiting that place because, it's witchcraft. Being involved in witchcraft can be really dangerous. So he didn't want them to visit that person anymore. It's like, not at all.
Yeah.
And apparently, that really angered the witch, and that caused the witch to, make a spell, I guess, called Winter from Hell.
Which basically sounds like every winter in Illinois, but apparently it was a big deal back then.
Yeah, so that apparently killed a lot of livestock in the area, and from what I'm getting, the father, there were a lot of theories, but the main theory is that the father hanged the children because he thought they were the problem. He thought they brought the bad luck.
By continuing to visit the witch, even though he told them not to?
Yeah, just visiting the witch brought bad luck. That's what he thought, from what I read. Then there were the other theories that you were talking about. Want to explain that?
Yeah, I think one of them is that Beulah herself hung Arthur Blood's kids.
Yeah.
And then there was another one, too.
Yeah, so there was also a bus with a whole bunch of kids on the bridge. And apparently there was one time where the whole bus went off the bridge. And basically all the kids were killed. And now, apparently to this day, you could still hear the children screaming from those days. Yeah,
and nobody knows if the bus went over the side because of hearing or seeing the witch. People have been talking about seeing this witch Beulah, who, again, we don't know. Based on the original story, we don't know if she killed Arthur Blood's kids. We don't know if she killed her own kids. We don't know if Arthur Blood killed his own kids. But the idea is that somebody hung some children from the side of this bridge. And since then, this witch has been appearing. And apparently she's caused all kinds of mischief and horrible things, including what you just described with the school bus going over the side. That could very well be someone saw the witch or felt the witch pulling them or something.
A big reoccurring character in this. Really interesting.
And there's this weird stuff that happens when you see her. They say that she's like really disgusting and decomposing, smells of death. And they say if you see her, you freeze, and then you feel the urge to run and vomit, which, that's nothing anybody wants to experience.
Apparently, it looks like when people see her, apparently it looks like she's looking for something. So it's really interesting.
So that bus thing you were talking about on the bridge, that again, this bridge seems to be like the focal point. This seems to be like the epicenter of everything going weird on Bloods Point Road. But didn't you say something about like a modern manifestation of that? Like something happens to cars on that bridge now?
Yeah, so when you put your car on neutral on that bridge, apparently it'll kind of move off the bridge. I've read articles that say that might not be true because it's the bridge is like at an angle, but we don't know for sure because we've never been on there.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Have to test that theory.
Yeah.
The legend.
Well, on either side of the bridge, we've got a road. And the road, sometimes people claim to see ghost buses, like the one that went over the side of the bridge. Sometimes people see ghost tractor trailer trucks. That always, I can't help but think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure when I read those stories. And I'm just picturing Large Marge rolling down the road picking up hitchhikers. It's hopefully we don't run into her. But if we run into anybody, we'll tell them Large Marge sent us. But the other thing that struck me as really weird is people get pulled over by a ghost police car, and depending on which story you read, sometimes it's like an old police car from like the 20s or 30s or something, or sometimes it's a modern police car. But they get pulled over, and once they get to the side of the road, they look in the rear view mirror. There's nothing there. Really is the best outcome you can hope for when you get pulled. But still kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we can talk about the cemetery as well.
Yeah. A lot going on there too.
Yeah.
Now, cemeteries in general are creepy, I think. And when you read about ghost hunting, they always say, start your hunt in the cemetery because that's where everything likes to hang out. This one's got a few different.
Yeah. So we've heard like ghost sightings. We've also heard there's like hellhounds that guard the cemetery. It's very interesting.
Yeah, hellhounds seem like they're almost at every cemetery that I've heard of. It's kind of a recurring thing.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll get to this in some of our Dogman hunts, but I always like to check out cemeteries when looking for Dogman because it seems like people are always reporting, seeing Dogman or a hellhound or something like that coming from or standing in the cemetery.
Yeah.
In this cemetery, they also talk about like hearing voices, like children's voices, hearing screams, or seeing strange lights, or hearing whistles. The typical stuff that you hear in haunted cemetery.
Yeah.
So, for our expedition, I guess the great thing about this place is it's a road, and that lends itself to what I call the Bryce Johnson style of exploration, which is you stay in the car, drive down the road, and hope you see something.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing a lot of that, but we are going to face some challenges. I didn't read this one, but I think you guys came across a story about a crazy farmer.
Yeah. So there's apparently a crazy farmer in the woods that, like, if they see you, they'll chase you out with a shotgun. I've also heard some, like, reports of a farmer with a pitchfork. So it's really interesting.
More reason to stay in the car.
Yeah.
And if you need still more reason to stay in the car, I was reading that the neighbors watch the cemetery pretty closely. Apparently it's closed all the time now. And they closed it because people did what unfortunately people do. When they go there hearing it's haunted, kids go out and start drinking, and they start painting pentagrams on the ground and taking spooky selfies in the haunted cemetery and digging up graves and knocking over tombstones. And
That's really
yeah. So these neighbors naturally want to protect their loved ones, and so they call the police immediately. They see you climbing a fence or parking a car near there or anything like that. So our goal, as always, is not to get arrested.
Yeah.
You know what the worst part is? There's a lack of restaurants. You can't stop at anything.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up, but because I don't want to lose your enthusiasm. But you're right, there is nothing. I mean, I pulled up the Google Maps, and man, the nearest restaurant of any kind is in Belvedere, which I think is like a half hour away from there.
Wow.
And even then, we're talking like Taco Bell, so it's we're definitely, this isn't going to be a great culinary adventure. And that's half the reason we go on these missions, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. We'll have to stop for something on the way or something.
Yeah. So I figure we'll take our usual equipment with us. Certainly cameras. You're kind of our camera guy.
Yeah. So I got my phone, which is like the main camera. And then I got night vision on there too.
You have an additional night vision camera.
Yeah.
We've got a couple EMF detectors we can use. We've got a thermometer, a digital thermometer that we use, just a normal, hardware store thermometer. But we've actually found some interesting stuff on that on past expeditions. Temperature changes are often great signs of ghosts. We'll get a lot of use out of that, I'm sure.
Pretty fitting.
Something I'd like to add to this that we've not done really intentionally before is audio recordings, and maybe even some, call and response type stuff where, we have an audio recorder running and we ask a question, maybe of Beulah or something.
Yeah, I could probably do that. Just use my phone and try and move it, see if we could hear anything.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I may have an old school, actual tape recorder too. I'd be curious if we brought that along to kind of see if the old school technology picks up anything that the new school doesn't, or vice versa.
I don't know.
And of course, everything I've read says when you're dealing with ghosts, bring extra batteries, because ghosts love to drain your batteries to, access whatever power they need to communicate with us.
Yeah. So I think I'll at least probably bring like a flashlight. See if our flashlights go out.
Yeah, good point. And extra batteries for that too.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, have you guys ever seen a ghost before?
Never.
Nope.
Same here. I've had some spooky things happen that have made me think that maybe a ghost was involved, but this is one of those things, kind of like most cryptids, where I just keep an open mind. I've never seen it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. I'm not going to discount anybody who tells me that ghosts exist, because I honestly don't know, and I'm willing to find out.
Yeah.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. Certainly our first ghost adventure, and it would be great if we could find something productive on this adventure that maybe gets us going back or checking out some more haunted places. But
yeah, also I have to add, with this one specifically, now that we're hunting for ghosts, now we really have to look back at the footage and pay attention to the little things. I mean, you know how on all the shows there are always orbs and just little things that could mean that there's a difference in the area.
Yeah, definitely. Although I still think when we go through all of our old Ohio footage, we're still going to see Bigfoot on one of those ridges, but that's a story for another time.
Yeah, probably.
But I guess we haven't set an exact date or time for this expedition yet, and we probably shouldn't mention it here because we don't want all of our subscribers showing up at the same time to scare the ghosts away.
Yeah.
But
a meet and greet.
Exactly. But we hope to get it done soon, and we will certainly be posting another podcast on it when we've completed, and we can kind of compare notes, what we thought we were going to find or what we hoped we were going to find and what we actually find.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we invite you to continue to follow us here at Weird Around Illinois. If you like what you hear, click the like button.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe, all that good stuff.
And if you have an encounter of your own or a location where you've heard of cryptids or ghosts in or around Illinois, you can feel free to post it in the comments of whatever platform you're following us on.
Or
I could make, or I'm probably going to make a Google form that you can post whatever sightings you have on there. If you don't want to post it like all publicly in the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you put it into the Google form, that will probably be like one of our main priorities to really look into.
Yeah, I mean, thank you all for the support. I mean, we have definitely been growing at a very fast pace thanks to you guys. So
yeah.
And we've been getting great ideas, both from the comments and from people who've contacted us privately about it, and just said, "Hey, I've seen this," or "I've this is what I heard about happening near me in Illinois or around Illinois." And Illinois is a weird enough state, and the Midwest is weird enough that I think we're going to have plenty of missions to go on for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
sir.
So again, thank you all for listening, and thank you for liking and following and commenting and all that good stuff, and we can't wait to talk to you again.